Welcome to the presentation on action research. I am Carrie Morgan and I will be taking you through this overview. The premise of teacher induction is based on action research. The idea of acting on data and reflecting on results is the best way to improve your practice. Everything you do for this program is a small piece that moves you through the various action research cycles. In the induction program, the action research process is also known as the plan, teach, reflect, apply cycle. It is a process in which you examine your practice by looking at data, develop an area of focus, create a plan of action to address the focus area, act on that plan, and then reflect on the results. Action research is not a research project where you go to the library, is not focusing on what is wrong, correct answers, or even writing a paper. Action research is really about focusing on ways to continuously improve practice by looking at evidence around you and taking action. I like to think of action research as teaching someone to fish rather than simply providing the fish. When you are a master in action research, you will be able to address most any issue by looking at the evidence and taking action in a way that effectively addresses the issue. This program's formative assessment is based on 3 modules that fit into the action research cycle. The initial cycles include collecting data. This data leads to an area of focus where you can act on it and examine the results. So the initial cycles, the data collection, include context for teaching and learning, and assessment of teaching and learning, and lastly, inquiry into teaching and learning, which is the full action research cycle. You will begin the initial cycle of data collection with context for teaching and learning. Together with your support provider's assistance, you will begin collecting data about your students and develop a student profile. You will also learn more about your school and district, such as the calendar, discipline policy, staff directory, and so forth. Lastly, you will collect information regarding resources available to you, your students, and their families throughout the community. At the end of this data collection, you and your support provider will discuss the data collected and begin having a conversation about how all this information will be used to inform instruction and increase student achievement. You will continue the data collection cycle in assessment of teaching and learning. Here you will identify what you know, what you want to know, and what you want your support provider to observe in your classroom, as it relates to your teaching practice. If you are completing Year 2 of induction, you will identify the impact your Year 1 inquiry continues to make on your teaching practice and student learning. After your support provider observes your classroom, together you will reflect on the observation and any insights you have gained. This will be followed by self-assessments. These self-assessments allow you to reflect on your current teaching practice in relation to the California standards for the teaching profession, as well as induction program standards, pedagogy, and universal access or equity for all students. Now that all the data has been collected, it is time to look at an area in which you would like to improve your practice. The initial data collection cycles have led you to this full action research cycle, the inquiry. When you bring together what you have learned about your students and community, given what you know about your strengths and areas for growth, what do you feel is an area to focus on for the next 6 to 8 weeks? You will develop a focus question and action plan, collect and analyze data, and reflect upon the impact on your teaching practice and student achievement. Remember, in the induction program, the action research process is also known as the plan, teach, reflect, apply cycle. It is a process in which you examine your practice by looking at data, develop an area of focus, create a plan of action to address the focus area, act on that plan, and then reflect on the results. The goal is to develop a mindset where action research is the norm and you are always striving to plan, teach, reflect, and apply. For more information regarding action research, please use the links above. Thank you.